Hey everyone, it's Trevor with Etrailer. Today we're going to be doing an overview and installation of the Etrailer Class 3 trailer hitch on the back of our 2023 GMC Terrain. Now if you're looking at getting a trailer hitch, you're probably looking to do one of the three things. Either get a cargo carrier to give you some extra space to have some extra cargo on a long trip, or a bike rack to take some bikes to a trailhead, or even potentially towing, say, a small boat or a small utility trailer. Now, those would be great options for you. And since this is a 2x2 as well, this gives you a lot of options for accessories. And it will fit a standard 5/8 pin. And if you don't have one, you can pick one up here at Etrailer. We also have a lot that come with accessories as well. And if you are looking to tow, you'll be happy to know that a clevis hook fits on here perfectly. So we already know the S hook is going to fit on here no problem at all. Now it has a nice, durable matte black powder coating on the outside of it, and it's rated for 675 pounds of tongue weight and 4,500 pounds of gross trailer weight. Now, as for our ground clearance, we're looking at 11 inches from the ground to the top of our receiver tube, and a good thing to note is as soon as you put weight in here, it's going to start to sag down, so you'll actually lose some ground clearance whenever you have something in your trailer hitch. And from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outside bumper, we're looking at about 3.5 inches. So you shouldn't have to worry about putting anything in your trailer hitch and with it bumping the back of our vehicle. Now the install process isn't too bad on this vehicle. You will have to enlarge a couple of the holes in the frame rails. And if that part scares you a little bit, you can always go and use our dealer locator tool and find a shop near you that'd be able to do it for you. But if I've convinced you to go ahead and maybe give this a try for yourself, we can go ahead and jump into the installation. To begin our installation, we're going to take a T15 Torx bit and we're going to remove the two Torx screws on our bumper here. You have one here and then another one here. You can tell which one it is just based off these little tabs that are kind of sticking out behind it. Once we got those loosened up, we'll lower the exhaust from there. With our 15mm second, we're going to remove these two bolts here. They got the weld nuts on the back, that bolt head up here on the front. It's going to be a little tricky to get to, so. Now before we fully lower our exhaust down, what we're going to do is take our cam buckle strap and we're going to find a spot to place it so that it holds up our exhaust once it's lowered. And if you're at home, you can also use like a block of wood, a box, whatever you got laying around to help you hold this exhaust up to prevent any damage further along the line. Now before we get this removed, I always like to take a little bit of silicone and just spray around. We're going to be removing this rubber isolator. It just helps break it free. Once we got it sprayed down though, you can take any pry tool and kind of take it and put it behind and push forward. And if you find a good spot for leverage, like on the back of this, you can use that to kind of help you out with that. But once that's off, you can just set that off to the side, and then we're ready to lower the exhaust down. And whenever you're ready to lower your exhaust, these brackets where we pulled those 50mm bolts out, they're going to have a tab way up top. So what you'll have to do is lift up and kind of shimmy this forward a little bit to get it off that tab. And once you have it off, you can just rotate around, and then we'll kind of work it past our rear fascia here. And you'll want to kind of loosen up whatever you got holding up the exhaust while you do this so that it comes down nice and smooth. And if you have this wiring harness here, you can see on the back side there's a little push pin. All you need to do is take a trim panel tool or a flathead screwdriver and reach back there and pop that loose. You'll also want to do it to this section here as well. Now once we got that out of the way, we can go ahead and enlarge our holes and start feeding our hardware through. As you can see, it's just barely too small to fit our hardware up into the frame. So we're probably just going to enlarge it a little bit both ways and see how it fits up from there. Now to enlarge it, I'm going to be using a burr bit, but you can use burr bit, a file, a stepper bit, whatever works best for you. Now we're gonna fish wire our bolts through, and I'm putting a pretty harsh bend in it just to make it a little bit easier, but we're going to start with the farthest one away, so this very front access hole. Then we're going to slide that up till we see it up there, and as you can see, even with that harsh bend, it's still pretty out of the way, so I'm going to use a pick tool to kind of bring it through the hole a little bit better. Once you got that fish wire through the access hole, just take your spacer block and feed that over the top. And once you have that on, take your carriage bolt and thread that onto here. And once you got it threaded on, push your spacer block up into place and then feed that carriage bolt through. You'll kind of have to like flip it sideways and push it through, and then you can give it a little pull and kind of shimmy it down this way. And then we'll repeat that for these two holes and then on the other side as well. Once you got everything in place, since we did cut this down to bare metal here, if you're worried about rust, you can always come back and hit it with a little bit of rust resistant spray paint. I always recommend it just because you never want rust forming on the frame as early as possible. With an extra set of hands, I got Ian helping me out today. We're going to lift the hitch up over the muffler, and we're going to feed our fish wire through the open holes here. And then once we have those fed through, we'll go ahead and lift the hitch up into place while also holding onto our fish wire so that it goes up straight. All right, now we can lift this into place. And once it's lifted into place, we'll go ahead and unthread the middle bolt, and then we'll get a nut started on that to hold up our hitch so we can get the rest on hand tight. And another thing to make it easier is you can kind of hold the hitch off to the left or right hand side to keep some tension on that bolt so that it doesn't move back into the frame. Then we're going to repeat this for all the remaining bolts. Then we're going to come back and get them snugged up and torque down to specs. Now with our 19mm socket, we're going to go back and get everything torqued down to specs. Now with our hitch in place and torqued to specs, we're going to go ahead and put our exhaust back up. And after we got our exhaust back in place, we're going to go ahead and put our T15 Torx bit bolts back in place. And now after we have those bolts back in place, we're going to take down our cam buckle hanger. And once you've done that, you've completed your installation. Well, that concludes the overview and installation of our Etrailer Class 3 trailer hitch for our 2023 GMC Terrain. My name's Trevor, and thank you for watching.